Have you ever noticed how some people can smile at you, speak kindly to you, even support you in front of others, but something still feels wrong deep inside? The strange part is that the signs are usually very small. A short pause before answering, a sudden cold tone, a fake laugh, a message ignored for hours after you set a boundary. Most people miss these things because they are waiting for a big warning sign. But in real life, hidden intentions usually appear through tiny behaviors repeated again and again. The good news is that learning these signs is much easier than most people think. You do not need special training, and you do not need to become suspicious of everyone around you. You simply need to slow down and pay attention to patterns instead of empty words. Psychology research shows that human beings communicate emotions through body language, tone, facial expressions, timing, and behavior much more often than through direct speech. That means people often reveal the truth without realizing it. In this video, you will learn 5 small behaviors that quietly expose hidden intentions, emotional manipulation, fake support, and unhealthy energy. More importantly, you will learn how emotionally intelligent people protect their peace without becoming cold or bitter. Some of these signs may explain relationships that have confused or drained you for years. Watch until the end, because the final behavior is one of the most powerful signs people ignore every single day. And if you enjoy psychology videos that help you understand people and protect your emotional peace, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us for the next lesson. One of the easiest ways to see a person's true intention is not by what they say, but by how their effort changes depending on who is watching. Some people are very warm, helpful, and kind in public spaces. They smile, they support you, they speak highly of you in front of others. But when the crowd disappears, their energy slowly fades. The care feels weaker, the attention drops, and sometimes they become distant or even cold. This is what we call a gap between public behavior and private behavior. And it often shows performative kindness rather than real emotional connection. This kind of behavior is usually driven by a need for validation, attention, or social image. In simple words, they are more focused on how they look to others than how they truly treat you. You might notice a coworker who praises your work during meetings but never helps you when you are struggling alone. Or a friend who comments on all your social media posts with love and support but rarely checks on you in real life. Even in relationships, some partners act more loving in front of others, almost like they are playing a role, but behind closed doors, their effort becomes minimal. This creates emotional confusion. You start wondering, are they really kind, or am I just seeing a show? Over time, this inconsistency can drain your energy because your mind keeps trying to make sense of mixed signals. The truth is simple. Real care does not need an audience. Real respect does not turn on and off depending on who is watching. Genuine people show steady effort, whether it is in a crowded room or a quiet moment. If you want to understand someone clearly, start paying attention to their behavior when there is nothing to gain. Notice how they treat you when no one is watching, when there is no praise, no reward, and no attention involved. Watch for patterns, not one-time actions. When kindness only appears in public, it is often more about image than intention. And once you see that clearly, it becomes much easier to protect your time, your energy, and your peace. Some people do not show their true intentions through loud actions. Instead, they hide it in silence, tone, and small emotional shifts. They do not say what they really feel. They avoid direct words. And over time, this creates a quiet kind of tension that is hard to explain but easy to feel. This is often called indirect communication, and it usually comes with passive anger, hidden frustration, and emotional avoidance. You may notice this when someone says it's fine, but their tone feels cold, or when a person agrees with you in words but slowly pulls away in behavior. Sometimes they make small, sarcastic comments that sound like jokes but carry a sharp edge inside. Other times, they stop replying the same way after a small disagreement, using silence as a way to show discomfort or even punish without saying it clearly. This kind of behavior is not random. It often comes from emotional immaturity, fear of conflict, or an unwillingness to take responsibility for feelings. The problem is, this creates confusion. You start guessing what they feel instead of understanding it. You begin to walk carefully around them, trying not to trigger another silent reaction. Over time, this drains your energy because your mind stays busy trying to read signals that should have been spoken clearly. A healthy connection does not make you guess all the time. It feels simple, open, and calm. If you want to notice this behavior early, pay attention to patterns after small conflicts. Watch how they respond when something goes wrong. Do they speak clearly, or do they pull away and act differently? Notice repeated sarcasm, delayed replies, or sudden emotional distance. Instead of trying to read their mind, ask simple and clear questions. And more importantly, observe if they are willing to communicate honestly or not. Clear people bring peace. Unclear people bring confusion, and many times confusion is not an accident. It is a quiet way of showing what someone does not want to say directly. Sometimes the clearest sign of someone's real intention is not something big or dramatic. It shows up in small, everyday moments that people often ignore. A quick interruption while you are speaking, a careless look at their phone when you are sharing something important, a laugh when you are being serious, or a habit of brushing off your feelings like they do not matter. These may seem like small things, but when they happen again and again, they begin to show a deeper pattern of low respect and low emotional care. Many adults stay in situations like this because each moment feels too small to react to. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal, or maybe I'm just overthinking. But over time, these small acts of disrespect slowly build up. They create a feeling of being unseen, unheard, and unimportant. This is how emotional neglect begins, not with one big action, but with many small ones that slowly lower your sense of value. You might notice someone who constantly turns the conversation back to themselves, showing little interest in what you say, or someone who forgets things that matter to you but expects you to remember everything about them. Some people may even mock your feelings, calling you too sensitive instead of trying to understand you. These behaviors may look casual on the surface, but they often come from a place of self-centered thinking, low empathy, or emotional superiority. If you want to see this clearly, pay attention to how someone listens. Real respect shows in attention, patience, and simple care. Watch how they respond when you open up. Notice if they give space for your thoughts or rush past them. Instead of focusing only on big moments, observe these small daily actions. Because in most cases, the small things are not small at all. They quietly show you how much someone truly values you. And once you see that pattern clearly, it becomes easier to decide what you deserve and what you should no longer accept. One of the clearest ways to understand someone's true intention is to watch what happens when you are no longer useful to them. As long as you can offer something, your time, your support, your skills, your attention, or even your social value, some people will stay close, act kind, and show interest. But the moment that benefit disappears, their behavior begins to change. Messages become shorter, calls stop, plans fade away, and the effort that once felt strong suddenly becomes weak or disappears completely. This is what a transactional connection looks like, where the relationship is built more on benefit than on real care. You may notice a friend who only reaches out when they need help, but goes quiet when you are going through a hard time. Or someone who is very present during your success, but slowly fades when things become difficult for you. In some cases, people may even show less respect once they feel they no longer gain anything from staying close. This does not always happen in obvious ways. Sometimes it is subtle, like delayed replies, lack of interest, or reduced effort. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. This kind of behavior often comes from hidden selfishness, emotional convenience, or a habit of taking more than giving. These people are not always bad, but they are not reliable either. They stay when it is easy and leave when it becomes uncomfortable. This creates a deep emotional impact because it makes you feel valued only for what you provide, not for who you are. If you want to see this clearly, pay attention during difficult moments in your life. Notice who checks on you without needing anything in return. Observe who stays consistent when there is no reward involved. Real connection shows up during inconvenience, not just comfort. When someone only stays when life benefits them, it quietly reveals their true intention. And once you understand this, you can begin to invest your time and energy in people who offer steady care, not just convenient attention. There are moments in life when nothing looks wrong on the outside, but something inside you feels uncomfortable. You may be talking to someone who sounds polite, who smiles, who says all the right things, but your body feels tense, your chest feels tight, or your energy feels drained after the conversation. This is not random. This is your emotional instinct working quietly in the background. Long before your mind finds a reason, your body starts picking up small signals like tone changes, forced expressions, strange timing, or hidden tension. These signals are often too small to notice clearly, but your nervous system feels them. Many adults ignore this feeling because they want to be fair, or they are afraid of judging someone too quickly. Some people tell themselves, maybe I'm just overthinking, or they seem nice, so it must be fine. But over time, ignoring these small internal warnings can lead to deeper emotional stress. You may stay longer in situations that quietly drain you, confuse you, or even harm your peace. Emotional intuition is not magic. It is built from past experiences, small observations, and patterns your brain has already learned without telling you directly. You might notice this when you feel tired after talking to a certain person, even if the conversation was normal, or when you feel slightly anxious before meeting someone without knowing why. Sometimes you may feel relief the moment you leave their presence. These are all small internal signs that something is not fully right. They do not always mean danger, but they do mean you should slow down and pay attention. If you want to use this awareness in a simple way, start by checking how your body feels during and after interactions. Notice patterns, not one-time feelings. Give yourself space before trusting quickly. Choose calm and steady connections over intense and confusing ones, because in many cases your body sees the truth before your mind is ready to accept it. When you start paying attention to these small behaviors, something very powerful begins to change inside you. You stop chasing confusing people, and you stop trying to understand actions that never match words. Life becomes a little quieter, a little clearer, and a lot more peaceful. The truth is simple. Most people do not hide their intentions perfectly. They show them in small ways, through effort, through respect, through consistency, and through how they treat you when nothing is in it for them. You do not need to become cold or distant to protect yourself. You just need to become aware. When someone is real, you will not feel confused all the time. You will not feel like you are guessing their feelings or trying to earn their care. Real connection feels steady. It feels calm. It does not rise and fall based on mood, attention, or benefit. It stays the same in quiet moments and in hard times. And that kind of connection is what every person deserves. As you move forward, try to watch patterns instead of promises. Notice how people act when no one is watching, how they handle small moments, how they respond when things are not easy, and how your body feels around them. These simple observations can save you from long periods of stress, doubt, and emotional pain. Over time, you will learn to trust yourself more, and that trust will guide you toward better relationships. Remember, the goal is not to judge people harshly. The goal is to understand them clearly. And once you see clearly, you can choose wisely. You can choose peace over confusion, respect over attention, and real care over empty words.